Everybody, well, the immediate objective, Joe, of the Saskatchewan Roughriders is to beat the BC Lions, but long range, they still think they can finish in first place. But to achieve that goal, Kent Austin will have to continue throwing the football at a record pace.
Well, Kent Austin is one of those kinds of quarterbacks that reads defenses extremely well. And hey, you know how good he's doing? This could be his 100th touchdown pass thrown tonight sometime.
He established the league record for passing yardage in a 46-43 overtime win the last time these teams met 2 weeks ago. And in the 2 weeks since that game, Bob Obilovich has made 2 changes in his secondary.
Well, he's had to make some changes. They've had an airlift in their defensive secondary, and 2 key guys are Rico Cartwright and Brett Young. They've got to stop that passing attack of Kent Austin.
Rico Cartwright came to the team from Hamilton, Young from Ottawa. Obilovich has totally rebuilt his secondary since the start of the year, a secondary and a defensive unit that has allowed more points than any team in the league. It's cool and windy tonight in Regina, and before the game ends, we might get more rain. We have had showers off and on throughout the course of the day, and at the bottom of the screen you see the conditions that prevail. A frost warning has been issued for the Regina area for this evening. Don Matthews, 5th all-time in winning percentage, previous head coaching stints in both BC and Toronto. Bob Obilovich, the former head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, their team's winningest head coach of all time, as the Saskatchewan Roughriders kick off to the BC Lions, and Carl Coulter takes the ball. A short kickoff, and it's going to be tough for the teams going against the wind kicking the ball. Michael Johnson is the starting quarterback.
Well, remember what we talked about, Don. He has that, he's got the wind with him, but he's got that left-handed delivery, but more importantly, he's got mobility.
That's one thing Bob Obilovich feels will be an asset tonight for Johnson, is his ability to run with the football. On the first play, he gives the ball to Volpe, who is the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League this season. He's tackled by Ty Jones. Johnson is the starting quarterback for the BC Lions, and these are the people he will be working with, including Ray Alexander, who led the team in receptions last year and is playing his first game of the season tonight. The offensive line is unchanged from a week ago. 2nd and 3 for BC. Their plan was to emphasize a running game coming in. Ryan Hansen trying to get a first down, but it appears as though he was stopped by Gary Lewis.
Gary Lewis came up and did a good job. Gerald Bayless also jammed up that middle, and remember, Bayless was basically let go by the BC Lions, so he's got something to prove tonight.
On 3rd down, the Lions are going for it. This 0-7 record for BC is their worst start since 1969, when they got off to a 1-10 start.
Well, that's what Don Matthews was worried about. He said the Lions are going to try anything to get a victory.
Penalty flags on the play. Volpe, the ball carrier. It appeared as though the Saskatchewan Roughriders may have lined up offside.
Offside, Saskatchewan number 8. First down, BC.
The offside call against Charles Anthony, and it's a first down automatically for the BC Lions. They are at the Saskatchewan 48-yard line. Alexander goes wide to the left. Flutie flanks to the right. Alexander was the intended receiver. It's over his head. He was being covered by George Wynn. So it's 2nd and 10 for the BC Lions. Dan Grayson is a new addition defensively for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, lining up at a linebacking position. And Wynn is a newcomer to the secondary. Coach Don Matthews, since the start of the year, has moved people around in his secondary. 2nd and 10 BC. The ball is at the 48 of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ty Jones was in to knock Michael Johnson on his back, and then Groenwagen takes exception to the move, and now Sinclair, the center, gets involved. Premature movement prior to the ball being snapped. Now, did somebody move on the part of the BC Lions, or was it an offside call against Saskatchewan?
Well, I think what the offensive line from BC is saying, regardless of whether somebody moved, you don't have to take an easy shot at my quarterback. Groenwagen let him know about it, and then Ian Sinclair came in and grabbed a face mask. Don't hit a guy when he's got a helmet on. It hurts. Now you can shake face masks, but Jones, I think, had a chance to hurt himself.
Saskatchewan number 35, still second down.
And all of that punching, and there was only an offsides call. What a game we're going to have tonight.
It is still scoreless in this opening quarter. Hand off to Volpe. Volpe gets a couple of blocks and will have a first down as he drives to the 36-yard line. Volpe this year, through his first 7 games, is ahead of his pace of last year. He has carried 88 times for 524 yards and 6 touchdowns. Last year at this time, he had 469 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Well, he's not only fast, Don, but he's powerful. He's got those legs that are very hard to tie up. He just keeps driving.
1st and 10 from the 36. Johnson will run the ball himself, and he slides into the 31-yard line. That will be a gain of close to 5. Johnson, a left-hander, came to the BC Lions from San Antonio of the World League of American Football.
Well, this is interesting because you see a guy here like Johnson. He's broken all kinds of records at the University of Akron, and he's got 3 receivers that have broken every record at their universities. A lot of talent out there on the ball field, and I think they got an opportunity against a team that has that good pass rush to score some points.
2nd and 6. Pass is complete. This should be a first down with Flutie on the receiving end of the throw. He got inside the 25-yard line.
And Darren Flutie, excuse me, I get my Fluties mixed up once in a while. He has led the Boston College Eagles in receptions. And hey, Obi knows with a mobile quarterback, they got a chance against this front 4 that likes to come after you.
With that reception, Flutie is tied with Trevathan as the leading receiver on the BC Lions. Each has caught 37 this year. Volpe, the ball carrier. Volpe gets to the outside, gets a block, and Volpe will get inside the 10-yard line. Glenn Suter, the safety, came over to trip him up with help from Cook.
They're going to try to play some zone defense so they can come up and help on the run support. But when you got John Volpe, he sees the run support to the outside, but look at his speed. He came all the way to the outside to break it back in. That shows you a lot of speed by a running back.
The Lions have moved 54 yards in 8 plays since taking the opening kickoff. The toss to Volpe, he cuts back inside, he's tripped up. Good move by Grayson. It's interesting that Grayson should be there to make the tackle. Grayson played against Volpe when Grayson was at Washington State, and Volpe was at Stanford.
Yeah, those Pac-8 people, they know what the talent is involved here. They know that Volpe has that ability to cut up. Grayson played it perfectly. He stayed behind the ball carrier, came up to meet him when Volpe made his cut.
A pickup of a couple of yards. It will be 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. Johnson throws it into the end zone for Hansen. It is intercepted by Suter. The safety came across to pick it off, snuffing out a good BC drive, and the expression on the face of Coach Bob Obilovich pretty much tells the story with 9:44 remaining in a still scoreless opening quarter.
I'll bet he'll have some modesty about it, Don, but Johnson found out there is 12 men on the field.
Kent Austin, who has completed 61% of his passes this year, throws to Ray Elgard. A flag on the play as Elgard gets up to the 41-yard line. It's holding against Saskatchewan. That will bring it back. Guilty party was.
Saskatchewan number 66, first down repeated.
It's against veteran Mike Anderson, the center. That will take the ball back to the 15-yard line. It will be 1st and 20, Saskatchewan.
Watch Glenn Shrivner, 72, and his number gets pulled off. Mike Anderson knows that's an illegal tactic.
Scrivener, a former member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Elgard over the middle, and Elgard gets out to the 27-yard line. Ryan Smith, the safety, came up to make the tackle. Austin has very impressive numbers, and if he continues At his completion rate through the final 11, he will establish a league record for most completions in 1 year by almost 100. Second and 7, Saskatchewan. Austin throws over the middle to Dan Farthing, and Farthing is stopped at the 30-yard line by Brett Young. And as a result, the Roughriders are forced to send out the punting unit.
Well, that holding call is certainly what stopped them, Don. And I think what Kent Austin has told the defense of the BC Lions is that you're going to have to make adjustments tonight. He put 4 receivers out to the wide side of the field. Coach Obilovich knows that if they can get them making a lot of adjustments and they can be sharp at it, then it won't matter they've got some young people in that secondary.
9:29 remaining in the opening quarter. Mike Lazecki with a third down punt that bounces in front of Rico Cartwright. He picks it up, but he has nowhere to go, and the man downfield to make the tackle is Ray Bernard, who leads the CFL in special team tackles. And hopefully, Scott, the wet stuff will stay away until at least 10:30. A handoff to Volpe, and Volpe fights his way to the 50-yard line, a gain of a couple of yards. Bobby Jurison from his rush end position made the tackle. Jurison is an interesting story. To play rush end, he shed some 30 pounds in the offseason.
Yeah, and the thing about it was that Coach Matthews said that didn't really enter into it. He didn't ask him to do that. He just told him what position he'd have to play, and he said, boom, the guy shed 30 pounds. I wish we could do it.
We should have a talk with him. Second and 8. Johnson dumps it off. Volpe takes a hit as he gets to the 50. Stacey Hairston came up with help from Gerald Bayless to prevent Volpe from getting a first down, and the BC Lions will be forced to send out their punting team.
Well, even though they're having to punt, Johnson's showing good awareness. He's dumping the ball off when nobody's open downfield, and look at the power Volpe has when he takes a good shot at Stacey Hairston.
Veteran Lou Pasaglia stands back at his 37-yard line for this third down kick. Two of the oldest players in the CFL in action tonight, Lou Pasaglia of the BC Lions, Roger Aldag of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
I think Aldag's tougher, don't you?
Roger Aldag would certainly tell you he is.
Well, we talked to him, and he said he is.
Jay Cox fumbles the ball. It's recovered by the BC Lions. Paul Wetmore was there to scoop up the football inside the 30-yard line. So the BC Lions get the ball back, and they are in scoring position with 7:04 remaining in the opening quarter.
Watch the way the defense converges. That's a nice shot. And, of course, Paul Wetmore coming in to pick up the loose ball.
This game is still scoreless as Johnson rolls left, gets a block from Flutie, from Volpe, and cuts back inside to the 24-yard line, stopped by Charles Anthony.
Volpe's doing a great job. He's doing a good job of blocking. He's doing a good job of running hard. And you know what? When you play hard like that, it starts to pay off in the second and third and fourth quarter. Watch Volpe, number 22. He knows that Johnson's going to take the corner, so he comes in, takes one guy and trips up another.
Second and 5, BC at the 24 of Saskatchewan. This time Volpe gets the ball, but he is going to be stopped trying to run inside. He had 4 riders converge on him, one of them Tyrone Jones. Third and 3, a 29-yard field goal. Lou Pasaglia with a high snap. Flutie will throw. It's intercepted. Picked off by Stacey Hairston. A high snap to Darren Flutie, who holds for Lou Pasaglia on field goal attempts. And Flutie had no option but to run out of there and try and throw it downfield. Stacey Hairston picked it off. The second interception in this opening quarter for Saskatchewan.
Well, what backfired is these guys put their hands down and they hope to draw the defense offside, and it worked. You see the defense jump, but the center tried to snap it at the same time.
So it's another turnover with 5:35 remaining in the opening quarter. Well, if that tactic employed by the BC Lions was intended to draw Saskatchewan offside, they got the movement from the Roughriders, but Wayne Drinkwalder got back before Carl Coulter centered the ball.
And then it looked like the left end jumped offsides. It was less than 5 yards to go, and they use that tactic often.
Lucius Floyd got back to the line of scrimmage and may have picked up a yard before he was dropped by Keith Poe. This is the way the Riders line up offensively. Kent Austin is the center, and he has been spreading the ball around. Elgard, Floyd, and Narcisse all have 40 or more receptions.
Well, let's watch Roger Aldag and see if he takes more hits than Louis Pasaglia does in one game.
From the shotgun formation, wide open is Elgard. O.J. Brigance, the middle linebacker, finally caught up with him, but not before Elgard got to the BC 47-yard line. That's a gain of 46.
Well, there's another adjustment problem. Ron Francis has to communicate with Andre Francis. Elgard doesn't fool anybody. He just breaks out and takes the football. Brigance has to come from way downfield to catch him, and that's a good job for our middle linebacker.
Elgard is the current active pass reception leader in the CFL, number 8 on the all-time list. He now has 562 career catches. Fairholm is open. He'll go for the major. Two plays after the interception by Stacey Hairston. Fairholm with 48 yards after a 46-yard strike to Ray Elgard, and Saskatchewan leads at 6-0.
Well, that was a perfect read by Ken Austin. He sent the 3 receivers to the left, and he looked left. He had the defense thinking left, but hey, there's a guy you better reckon with. Larry Fairholm comes from a good bloodline, and he was way behind Ron Francis on that touchdown.
Larry was his father. Jeff is the young man who scored the touchdown. The point after is added by Ridgway, and it's a 7-0 game as Ken Austin, who has completed 61% of his passes this year, gets his 100th career touchdown toss.
Well, there's the coach in action. They say he's just like a coach, studies game films, and look what he saw. He knows they can get that guy beat deep, and there he goes down the field. Remy Trudel came over to try to pick it up. Ron Francis actually came off on that 3rd receiver, and look how happy the quarterback is. He says, hey, all that time I spent in the film room, it's worth it.
Ridgway's short kickoff, and O.J. Brigance gets no opportunity to run it back as he was stopped in his tracks.
Kickoff was taken by 57.
Danny Barrett is back in the BC lineup tonight after being out since the 3rd game of the season when he was injured, but he is in a backup capacity to left-hander Michael Johnson, who throws to Flutie, and Flutie carries down to the 41-yard line.
Johnson's pass is good.
Well, there's another guy that comes from a good bloodline. I know Mr. Flutie at Flutie Pass has to be happy with the way both of his sons are playing, but Darren Flutie has been a real big asset to the Lions this year.
24 yards on the receiving end of the Johnson throw. 1st and 10, BC. The Lions at the 43 of Saskatchewan. 3 receivers wide to the left. Johnson trying to dump it off to Ryan Hansen. It slipped through his hands. It's incomplete.
Well, that play was well conceived because we talked about Grayson is the guy that has to stop John Volpe, and Grayson came all the way over with that play fake to John Volpe, but the pass wasn't completed on the screen.
Although Johnson hasn't seen a great deal of action, throwing just 29 passes coming into this game, 4 of them went for touchdowns.
It's a nice percentage.
Johnson operates this time from the shotgun on 2nd down. Johnson in some difficulty, and he should be able to run for the 1st down as he dives through to the 30-yard line, stopped by Dan Rashovich.
It's just a different dimension when you have a quarterback that can run. I mean, it changes the whole football game. We saw that last night with Doug Flutie. It's a problem to the defensive secondary. It's a bigger problem to the defensive line, and Obilovich knows that. That's why he's got Johnson in there. That mobility is going to bail him out of those tough situations.
BC is dominating statistically, but the Roughriders lead 7-0 as Volpe carries into the 27-yard line, stopped by Tyrone Jones.
They just haven't been able to get Tyrone Jones on the backside. He's so quick, they're not cutting him off. Even though the play's going away from him, Ty Jones is right up there making the hits.
The Riders refer to their defensive unit as Gang Green.
And maybe some of those offensive linemen think of them as Gang Green.
2nd and 8 for the BC Lions. Alexander goes wide to the left, Flutie to the right. Penalty flag on the play as the pass is thrown on the sidelines to Alexander. He is bounced out of bounds at the 15.
Well, it could be offsides because Saskatchewan was blitzing, and they've been really pressing that 1-yard neutral zone.
Offside, Saskatchewan, declined. First down, BC.
The offside call obviously is declined as Alexander on the receiving end of the Johnson throw had provided the Lions with a first down at the 15. 1st and 10 from the 15 with 1:07 remaining in the opening quarter. 7-0 Saskatchewan. Volpe the ball carrier, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Tyrone Jones, who celebrates the tackle on the league's leading rusher.
Well, Tyrone Jones has been so close to Volpe, it looks like they're related. They're going to have to do something to get Tyrone Jones out of the running game. They're going to have to run some counters. They got to do something to get him away from the initial charge of Volpe.
This time Alexander comes to the right. Flutie goes left. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Johnson from the shotgun formation. Throws to the sidelines. Matt Clark. Incomplete.
To 85, Matt Clark, incomplete. 3rd and 10.
Well, Matt Clark's had some trouble this year. This is what they call the sophomore jinx. I think part of it is the opportunities haven't always been there. Now, that's certainly an opportunity for him, and he should have caught that ball. But I think getting used to a new quarterback, Matt Clark had Doug Flutie last year. He could waste a little bit of time and get open because of Flutie's scrambling ability. He hasn't had that luxury this year.
Darren Flutie will hold as Pasaglia will again attempt a field goal, this time from 22 yards out. Another high snap, but this time Flutie is able to pull it down and pin it for Pasaglia. And with 5 seconds remaining in the opening quarter, the Lions trail by 4. Scott?
Well, Don, with the Lions trying to win their first of the season, let's advance this ownership crisis story as much as we can. Now, the league, of course, is in control of the team, but it's trying desperately to find a buyer. The information that we have tells us that there are 4 groups interested, 1 casually, 3 seriously. 2 of those 3 don't want their names mentioned. They're adamant about that. But one of them is the Howard Baldwin Group, and Baldwin, of course, owns the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins. We understand his representatives will be in Vancouver on Monday to check over the books of the Lions, and it is possible that there could be the speedy resolution to this problem that the league wants. Don?
Well, everyone across the Canadian Football League certainly hopes that the financial dilemma is solved quickly. Rico Cartwright was the defender who is back to knock down the Tracy Austin pass attempt on the final play of the opening quarter.
General Motors provides all electric vehicles. Visit your local.
We start the second quarter. The Roughriders are 2nd and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
Saskatchewan ball, 1st and 10. 2nd and 10.
Austin operates from the shotgun formation. He was looking for Fairholm. Fairholm had maneuvered in behind Remy Trudell, but Austin could not lay the pass in there, and the Riders are forced to send out the kicking unit. 2 passes, a 46-yarder to Ray Elgard and a 48-yarder for the touchdown to Fairholm have accounted for almost all of the net yards the Saskatchewan Roughriders have accumulated thus far in the game. Look at the time of possession. Almost 12 minutes for the BC Lions, and yet they trail by 4 points. Cartwright has problems fielding the punt and is downed immediately at the 40-yard line. Tyrone Jones on special teams quickly downfield to make the tackle. Cartwright, I'm sure, is breathing a sigh of relief, Joe, that he was able to get the ball back.
You got to catch that football in your hands. You can't let it bounce off your chest like that.
First and 10 Lions from the 39-yard line.
Okay, what you got to know on the sidelines now, you think it's all work and no play. Not so. There's a football right there, and Scott Oak on the sidelines is having fun.
Well, if things don't work out, as a sideline commentator, perhaps a new career awaits Scott. Johnson was under pressure.
Now guess who was giving him the pressure?
Attention please, Dr. Abdul Messi.
Second and 10 for the BC Lions.
Dr. Abdul Messi, answering service.
Johnson passing for 45 yards in the opening quarter, but unfortunately for the BC quarterback and the Lions, 2 of them were intercepted. Actually, only one of his passes was picked off. From the shotgun, a bad snap, and Johnson is able to cover up.
Fumble is recovered by the quarterback.
Lance Cook came through very quickly as Johnson had difficulties with the snap from center Ian Sinclair.
Well, Ian Sinclair, he got the ball right there, but the guy who he's playing over is giving him some trouble. That's Bayless. So Sinclair gets the ball. He has to look over to see Bayless. He's supposed to be helping. That was a catchable ball, but I think Johnson looking downfield instead of looking at the ball coming into his hands. That's the danger in the shotgun formation.
Saglia stands at his own 8-yard line for this third down punt. 7-3, the Saskatchewan Roughriders lead. They'll get it back in good field position. Willis Jaycox doesn't get an opportunity to play it as it bounces out of bounds close to the 50-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We'll be back after this. Kent Austin with protection. Throws incomplete, intended for Elgard. There's a penalty flag.
Forward pass interference. BC number 14. First down, Saskatchewan.
Ron Francis guilty of the pass interference. The BC Lions have made, since the start of the year, a wholesale change in their secondary, but they don't have great size back there, Joe. They average 5.9 inches. And it's tough for some of those secondary people to defend against the likes of a Ray Elgard. Lucius Floyd, the ball carrier, picking up a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you're talking about is all of those guys that have come in there, and they've still settled on guys 5'9", 175 pounds or 180 pounds. And when you look at Rico Cartwright, Young, Smith, Francis, they're all small people. And it is tough when you get a guy like Elgard. He'll take the ball away from you.
Remy Trudell in the ball game as the BC Lions have 6 defensive backs in there. From the shotgun on 2nd and 8, Donald Narcisse makes the catch in front of Cartwright. And that is 80 consecutive games that Narcisse has caught at least one pass.
Narcisse is a technician. Watch him make his break away, and the good concentration he has on the football. That is not an easy catch. He caught that ball coming right down into the ground.
And one of the important things he did, he got his hand underneath the football to make sure it didn't bounce in the ground and get away from him. 4 receivers to the right. Ray Elgard, the intended receiver, it's incomplete. I talked about the matchup. Ray Elgard, 6'3", 225 pounds. And when you take a look at the defensive backs of the BC Lions, Rico Cartwright is 5'10", 180. Brett Young, who's defending against him, is 5'9", 180.
Well, I'll tell you a little story about this guy, Ray Elgard. You know, he's had some great games against the Lions. The last time they played, he had a great game. They gave him the game ball. He ate it.
He had 10 receptions for 187 yards the last time these teams met. Saskatchewan winning in overtime. Lucius Floyd on the receiving end, but he will be stopped about 7 yards short of a first down by Ron Francis. So David Ridgway, who was almost automatic from this range, will come into the ball game. As Elgard today celebrates his 33rd birthday, and I said this was almost automatic for Ridgway. Ridgway thought it was good. He raised his hands, but the official underneath the upright signaled that it was wide. It goes for a single point. So it's 8-3. Saskatchewan now leading the BC Lions.
September 5th.
Big hit as Suter came up to hit Ryan, and then Suter took a hit from Ian Sinclair.
Yeah, Suter really came up and put another solid shot on him. He knocked him down. I mean, it was a great contact. That's good, solid contact. Of course, he's got him off balance. That's a nice time to hit somebody when they just catch the football. Now Sinclair's saying, hey, get out of here. What are you doing to my buddy?
Sinclair might be a little miffed in that he didn't get over there to block Suter before Suter got up to deck Hansen.
Yeah, that was his man. It was like a real short screen, and it was Sinclair's man. He blocked him too late.
Sinclair was fortunate there was not a penalty flag. Trevathan was the man that Johnson was looking for. He was being covered by Kim McLeod.
Well, she's not upset, but I'll bet Trevathan's upset with that, and he'll tell you Johnson has that southpaw delivery, hard to catch. Look at Ray Alexander. There's a big target, and we said Johnson will be looking for him. I mean, you talk about mismatch on size. Donaldson is only about half of him.
Good kick by Pasaglia. Jaycox takes it at the 35-yard line. Penalty flag on the play as Jaycox goes down at the 45-yard line. Kent Austin swings it out to Lucius Floyd. Floyd cuts back into the middle, gets away from a couple of people, and spins his way to the 50-yard line.
That's one of the big weapons that Kent Austin has been able to go to this year. Both Milson Jones and Lucius Floyd. It's just a dump-off. I mean, that's not even in the playbook. That's just your outlet, and look at the yardage he makes by making people miss.
A gain of 18 yards for Lucius Floyd as he carries to the 50, 1st and 10 Saskatchewan. Floyd is number 2 in the CFL in receptions coming into the game. Lucius Floyd, the ball carrier, one of the rare occasions he has run with the football this year, and he gets another Saskatchewan first down to the 44-yard line.
Obilovich is concerned with the ability to stop that running game, because then that will dictate what Kent Austin can do.
Lucius Floyd has handled the football more times this year as a pass receiver than he has as a running back.
And Ray Elgard did a good job on that last play.
Jaycox goes wide left. Narcisse to the right. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 45 of the BC Lions. Austin throws for Fairholm, and Fairholm got up and carried on. Apparently nobody touched him when he went down, and he had the presence of mind to get up and carry to the 25 of the BC Lions.
Now, Jeff Fairholm's caught 30 passes so far this year, but that was a great effort on his part. Really good awareness, because the official hadn't blown the whistle. He knows that the player didn't touch him down. He jumped up and took off. I think Remy Trudel should have at least taken a piece of him.
3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive first downs for the Roughriders. Fairholm has scored the game's only touchdown. It's 1st and 10 from the 25. Austin throws for Eldar, touchdown!
Well, when you're man-to-man, Remy Trudel is man-to-man on him. They've got man coverage. Watch Remy pick him up as he comes back over the middle.
Making a splash with splash
Brett Young's nowhere around, and it is a touchdown. Excellent pass pattern, but Austin stayed right in there. He stepped up in the pocket and delivered a good pass.
Ridgway adds the point after. Ray Elgard, who has 5 1,000-yard receiving seasons, is headed for another as the Riders lead it 15-3. 7:25 remaining in the half. The Saskatchewan Roughriders ahead of the BC Lions 15-3. Dave Ridgway preparing to kick off. 3 points so far tonight for Ridgway, 2 converts and a single. Ahmad Field on the receiving end of the Ridgway kickoff. And he gets to the 40-yard line. Ray Bernard was there to make the tackle. Number 2 draft choice of Bishops has excelled on special teams. Ray Elgard with his 7th touchdown reception of the year. And at this pace, Elgard should have a career season. And twice he has caught 11 touchdown passes in 1 year.
That was a great read by Austin. He saw Brian Smith lose his balance. He just delivered the ball to Elgard. And look where Elgard stands on receiving TDs. He's not only strong, but he's fast.
Big pressure by Charles Anthony, who is blitzing. The pass is complete to Ray Alexander, however, and he gets across midfield to the Saskatchewan 53. He's stopped there by Lance Cook.
Alexander brought down by Lance Cook.
Where were those clearing skies we saw a few minutes ago?
I thought I saw some daylight. But by golly, it's gone. There's no daylight.
Those can't be rain clouds up over us. They must be empties heading back. Volpe got back to the line of scrimmage. He was stopped there by Rasevich and Bayless.
Well, Don, I think what's happening on that counter play that they usually run so well, and the fans will tell you, Gerald Bayless is doing a great job up front at the nose tackle position. He's not letting Volpe get a start.
Most of the fans obviously came prepared for bad weather tonight at Taylor Field, but the cool weather and the rain has certainly reduced the crowd at Taylor Field this evening.
It hasn't made them any quieter.
Rider officials had been hoping for about 21,000 for this game against the Lions. Johnson has his pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Bayless.
Johnson's pass knocked down by 98, Gerald Bayless.
Well, Gerald was with the BC Lions last year, and he knows the players, and as the competitor that he is, he's going to let his buddies know that he's still around, and that's what he wants to do. I mean, he's playing a great game tonight.
Bayless has seen previous duty in the Canadian Football League with both the Toronto Argonauts and the BC Lions. Lou Pasaglia, who has spent his entire CFL career with the Lions, stands at the 42-yard line for this 3rd down kick. The Lions must feel they're jinxed. Not only have they not won a football game this year, they have played under some very bad weather conditions on the prairies. Snow a week ago in Calgary, rain tonight. Jay Cox fumbles the ball but gets it back at the 10-yard line.
Well, Jay Cox, they've said, is not the same return guy because he's playing a position on the field. In other words, he's playing 2/3 of the ball game. He's on all the special teams, does a great job on kick coverage, and he's a receiver as well.
Last year, he was number 2 in the CFL in combined yards, and he came into tonight's game with 1,146 combined yards, only 4 behind Raghib Ismail. First and 10, the ball is at the 10-yard line. The toss to Lucius Floyd. He tried to cut back, but he was tripped up by Remy Trudel.
They got Remy Trudel in there. He's playing like a weak side linebacker, and they like to use a lot of change-ups. 6 defensive backs, and we talked to Ken Austin yesterday. He said, hey, they throw everything at you. They double cover the slots. They'll use a 2-deep free zone. He's ready for it. It looks like Ken Austin's taking his reads extremely well.
He put the football in the air 62 times the last time these two teams met. Lucius Floyd gets to the outside and is bounced out of bounds by Brian Smith, but not before Lucius Floyd provides the Riders with yet another first down at the 34-yard line.
Well, they caught them in a, you watch the stunt that they're trying to run, and this guy ran out of the play. They have a predetermined snap, and he comes all the way around him. But hey, the ball carrier's back the other side. You can't have a big man running outside the play. Lee Johnson just took himself out of it because of the stunt.
A gain of 19 for Lucius Floyd. Austin throws deep for Fairholm. He'll win this foot race. He got in behind Remy Trudel for a 76-yard touchdown. His second of the game. His first was a 48-yard major.
Jeff Fairholm had some injuries this year, but what he did is got man-to-man coverage to the short side of the field, and Kent Austin looked off the defense. As he came back, he's looking, and now he turns, and there he is. He sees Jeff Fairholm, and look at the speed of Jeff Fairholm.
5-1-3-3-3.
He's got him beat by 5 yards.
5-1-3-3, courtesy of Jeff Fairholm. Here comes the convert attempt.
The point after by David Ridgway, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have really taken control of this football game. They lead 22-3.
Mike Roach is talking to Remy Trudel. They're talking about defensive adjustments, and you got to think from the coach's reaction, they didn't make the proper adjustment. He's shaking his head and trying to get them, and that's the trouble you have when you have new defensive backs. They got to get the calls, and they've got to make the adjustments. The one thing that Obilovich said yesterday, we've got to make the proper adjustments on their formations.
In this 1992 season, Fairholm had not scored a touchdown until the two majors tonight. Ahmad Field on the kickoff return for the BC Lions, and he brings it out to the 48-yard line. Bernard was there, Drinkwalder was there, Hairston was also in on the stop.
Well, this guy, Ray Bernard, he is leading the CFL in special teams tackles. And he goes down, boom, he hits his blocker, and he gets rid of him, comes back over to make the tackle. He's got all the qualities of a good special teams player. He's chunky, he's fast, and he's tough.
And that's how he earned a spot on the Rough Rider roster, was through that type of effort on special teams. Volpe drives to the 50, picks up about 3 yards, stopped by Grayson. He was a #2 draft choice this year out of Bishops.
Well, Ray Bernard knows that there's one way for a young guy to make the ball club, and a lot of people have broken into the CFL by playing tough on special teams, including our commissioner, Larry Smith. And then he got himself a starting assignment as a slot back later on. But Ray Bernard, he'll be one of those linebackers in there someday.
Pressure on second down. Rashovich couldn't haul down Johnson. Johnson throws. It's intercepted by Hairston. It was intended for Clark, and Hairston has his second pickoff of the game.
Well, Stacey Hairston told us what was going to happen in this ball game very early when he came up and did such a good job of tackling John Volpe. Johnson was rushed. He got rid of Rasovich, and it seems peculiar to see a left-hander rolling out to his left. That's the easiest way. Left-hander left, throwing the ball. He got it across field. You got to get some help from your receiver. He should have broken that one up.
Intercepted at the 41-yard line.
3 minutes remaining in the half. It's 1st and 10 Saskatchewan. The Riders, with the Hairston interception, are at their own 40-yard line. Austin throws to the sidelines, incomplete. Intended for Donald Narcisse.
Pass attempt to Narcisse, incomplete.
Andre Francis was defending against Narcisse. 22-3 is the score. The officials attempting to keep the football dry as they await the Riders moving up into position for this second down play. Ray Elgard is open, and the two Saskatchewan slot backs, Elgard and Fairholm, are having a field day against the BC defensive unit.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to get open, and Ray Elgard has perfected nearly every one of them. That's including outrunning somebody, but he doesn't try to outrun anyone on this play. He just fakes like he's going to take it upfield, and then he breaks out on a post corner, and Austin has been on tonight. Austin's delivering that football right where he has to. Some sloppy tackling, and Brett Young, the backside halfback had to come over and make the tackle.
Elgard has 4 receptions already for 111 yards, including a touchdown, and he's got yet another.
81's Elgard.
And that will be close to another first down, depending on the spot.
Let's take a look at this. Bring him in.
I think Ray Elgard would tell you he loves to play against the BC Lions. I can't remember when he's had a bad game against the Lions, and look what he's off to tonight. 5 receptions. He's got 1 TD already, over 120 yards. Not a bad night for that workman.
Just a couple of inches short of a first down. And the other Saskatchewan slot back, Jeff Fairholm, has caught 3 passes for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know, Ken Austin loves to throw to those slot backs because that's the shortest distance between 2 points. He loves to get that ball down the middle or when they break to the outside on a post corner pattern. He's getting good protection from his people up front.
With better than a half still remaining, Elgard has a chance to better his performance the last time these teams met. Over the middle, the pass is complete to Bobby Jurison. A short yardage unit was in there, and on second down, the Roughriders throw to Jurison.
Well, Bobby Jurison paid for that one. It's a play fake, short yardage. Everyone's expecting a plunge from Milson Jones. But watch what Brian Smith does to Jurison. Oh, he got him a good shot right in the back.
1st and 10 Saskatchewan from the 18-yard line. Austin gives to Lucius Floyd, and he'll score. Vic Stevenson got downfield to throw a key block, enabling Lucius Floyd to get to the end zone, and he celebrates with a backflip.
A really big changeup because they were really worried about coverage. The Lions came in and tried to double on the slot backs. They released. There was nobody to tackle Lucius Floyd. How about that celebration? A little backflip, Don. Excuse me.
The BC Lions have given up more points than any team in the league this year. Their average is 42 points per game against. And the way the Roughriders have performed in this opening half, they should easily go over 40 points in tonight's game. Lucius Floyd with his first touchdown of the evening. He's celebrated. Now the Rider mascot, Gainer the Gopher, celebrates.
You can see Ken Austin. He came around as though he's going to drop back. It's a draw play. He's going to drop back for pass, but he slipped the ball to Lucius Floyd. He's got everybody back on their heels playing pass, and Floyd did the rest.
I don't think he missed many people in saying hello.
I think he mentioned everybody in Reno, Nevada.
1:46 remaining in the half. 29-3, Saskatchewan leading the BC Lions. And unless there's a dramatic turnaround in the second half, the Lions are going to go to 0-8. Ahmad Field starts out from the 16-yard line. Grayson makes the tackle at the 35 as the BC Lions scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. The left-hander throws through the hands of Ryan Hansen. That's the second time tonight that Hansen has had a ball thrown in his direction that I think he should have caught.
Yeah, that ball was right there, and Bob Obilovich likes Hansen. He likes his hard-nosed ability on special teams, but hey, you got to be able to catch that ball.
Joe, you're absolutely correct when you said that Jurison took quite a hit when he caught that pass from Smith. Drinkwalder has now taken Jurison's position at rush end, and Jurison has gone to the Saskatchewan dressing room. Here comes the blitz, and down goes Johnson. There's also a penalty flag in the play.
Flag on the play. Quarterback had the ball.
Gerald Bayless got through to quarterback Michael Johnson, and a holding call is assessed against BC as well.
BC number 60, declined. Third down.
Jamie Terrace was guilty of holding. The penalty is declined naturally by the Saskatchewan Roughriders as the result of the Bayless sack.
Well, it's area protection. Jamie's got to stay with him, and the worst possible scenario is to have the guy get the sack, and then you get called for holding, so it's sort of a double bad penalty.
Bayless has certainly had a strong first half against his former teammates, and the Riders could add more before the half ends. They should get the ball back in pretty good field position. Pisaglia stands at his own 15-yard line for this third down kick. Jaycox takes it at the 45. And he runs out of room on the sidelines as he gets up to the 51-yard line. That's where Saskatchewan will scrimmage 1st and 10, a 38-yard kick, a 7-yard return. After that thrilling game last night that Calgary won in overtime over Edmonton, those two teams are tied for first place, setting the stage for that traditional Labor Day Classic at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. We'll have that game for you, by the way, on CBC television. Saskatchewan, with a win tonight, could keep pace. They would remain 4 points back of the co-leaders in the Western Division. 1st and 10 from the 50. Lucius Floyd takes the swing pass. O.J. Brigance comes over to make the tackle, limiting his gain to about 4 yards. Austin has already thrown the football for 321 yards. Most of that yardage picked up by Jeff Fairholm and Ray Algard. Just 61 yards for Johnson.
If he keeps that up, they're going to call him the Mad Bomber. He's had 3 long gains in this game, and it's all been from a pre-snap read. In other words, he's reading what the defense is before the ball's snapped.
2nd and 6. Austin throws over the middle to Dan Farthing. This is another Saskatchewan first down, and there's a penalty flag in the play.
Illegal block. Saskatchewan number 81. Foul occurred after first down was gained. The first down, Saskatchewan.
Now, does that look like a guy that would make an illegal block? I don't think so. It wasn't on purpose, I'm sure.
Oh, I think he had full intention of giving that defensive back a bit of a push. Stuart Hill rushes through on quarterback Kent Austin. Pass was intended for Lucius Floyd, and he and the man who was covering him, Brian Smith, have a few words.
That's the second big hit Brian Smith has had in this ball game. Remember the other one that he put on Bobby Jurison. He times this thing up perfectly. He got beat on a deep pass. I think he's making people pay for it. Good rush by Stu Hill, and bang! That's a good hit by Brian Smith. I wonder if Drinkwalder will want to play receiver on short yardage after he sees this.
2nd and 10. Dumped off to Lucius Floyd. And he fights his way to the 35 of BC for a first down with 28 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, there's a guy you don't want to give a big start. You give him 5 or 6 yards and he just picks up momentum. And all those are checkdowns. That's just a safety valve in case Austin doesn't have anybody open. And hey, that's working just as well as any of the other passes.
A gain of 20 for Lucius Floyd, who has the ball again, and he'll get another big gain. And another Saskatchewan first down to the 21-yard line. Stopped there by Remy Trudel. 20 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, that's a nice draw play, and what it looks like to the defense is that Austin's dropping back to throw a deep pass. Gets the defense going back, and boom, they run up in there with Lucius.
Austin into the end zone for Fairholm, incomplete. Linebacker Donovan Wright had dropped off with Fairholm, and Austin actually was throwing into double coverage.
Yeah, Fairholm, he drew a crowd that time, and I don't think anybody was fooled. Brian Smith came over to help him out. Donovan Wright's taking the inside away. That's a sandwich.
2nd down and 10, 21.
13 seconds remaining in the half. 2nd and 10. Willis Jaycox wide left. Narcisse to the right. 5 receivers in there for Saskatchewan. Pass is complete to Jaycox. He gets to the 6.
85,
Penalty flag on the play as well. 9 seconds still show on the clock till halftime.
Offensive forward pass interference. Saskatchewan number 10. Second down repeated.
Farthing took the defensive back out of the play, enabling Jaycox to get into the open.
Usually see that call when you see crossing receivers.
Over the head of Ray Elgard, and there was a penalty flag, and I think Elgard may have been offside on the play.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 81. Second down repeated.
This one is good. And 1 second still remains on the clock as the Riders increase their advantage to 32-3.
Different kind of attack. Danny Barrett can throw the deep ball. Not quite as mobile as Johnson, but more experienced.
Ryan Hansen carries out to the 48-yard line, tripped up by Charles Anthony, but that is the final play of the first half here at Taylor Field, totally dominated by Saskatchewan. Stay tuned for Live at the Half. Well, the rain has stopped at Taylor Field as we get set for the second half. The Roughriders comfortably in front by 29 points. Can Danny Barrett engineer a second half comeback? It looks as though he is going to take over in the second half of the football game. But right now, the BC defensive unit will have to try and figure out some means of stopping Saskatchewan. Farthing gives it to Willis Jaycox on the reverse, and the play is stopped at the 35-yard line after a 17-yard return by Remy Trudel. 434 yards in the first half for Saskatchewan, 360 passing yards by Kent Austin.
Paris, France, Bruno Laprat, section 204, row 17, seat 11, join the CFL game.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders obviously preferring the pass to the running game, although Lucius Floyd ran very well in the opening 30 minutes with 74 yards. He's also been on the receiving end of a number of Kent Austin passes, and he'll be very close to another Saskatchewan first down. A rule that Floyd did pick up a first down. As I said earlier, the two slot backs, Elgard and Fairholm, have been the favorite target tonight of Kent Austin.
Well, that's highly unusual. Normally you'll see the wide receivers be the primary receivers. Slot backs and backs are normally equally targeted by the quarterback. But hey, these slots that they've got for Saskatchewan, they're not too bad.
5 receivers for Saskatchewan over the middle to Farthing, and Farthing is stopped at the 50-yard line. O.J. Brigance was the first to make contact with him with help from Donovan Wright.
Well, one of the things that BC has to do is to rush the passer. They're starting to get a little better pressure. Stu Hill, one of the all-time sack leaders in the CFL. He's got 114 career sacks. And he's got to pick it up and help that defense get back in the ballgame.
Pass is complete to Willis Jaycox. That should be a first down at the 53-yard line. And referee Ken Lazarek signals to the sideline to move the chain along.
One of the most valuable things that Kent Austin brings to their offense is his ability to read. He saw the blitz coming that time, and he just threw a simple look-in pattern for the first down.
Well, as you mentioned, Joe, he spends an awful lot of time screening game film and preparing the game plan for the following week's game. And he obviously worked on the BC defensive unit in getting ready for this game. Lucius Floyd carries to the 49 of Saskatchewan, 360 passing yards for Kent Austin in the first half.
Well, Ken Austin was subject to some criticism, but look at Lucius Floyd's running back. I mean, when you get 74 yards rushing, and how many did he get passing? Nearly as many.
Elgard was dangerously close to being offside, but the pass goes to Floyd, and Floyd has another Saskatchewan first down to the 38-yard line, tripped up by Paul Wetmore.
Well, he's equally dangerous catching the football or running the draw play. And this little, just a swing pass out to the side. Receivers clear for him, and he gets ahead of steam. He'll make a lot of yards.
Floyd, 74 rushing yards, 67 through the air. 1st and 10 Saskatchewan. The ball is at the 38. Full blitz. The pass intended for Fairholm as Austin read it, but he overthrew his slot back. 11:24 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
But one of the things they said about Kent Austin, he doesn't throw the deep pass. Can you believe that was a criticism? And Don Matthews said, hey, he can throw the deep pass. Don't worry about that. He studied those films last week where he was getting 6-7 defensive backs from the Ottawa Roughriders. He's really rebounded in this ballgame.
Much to the dismay of the BC Lions, who witnessed a superb passing performance the last time they met. Another blitz, and again Austin was looking for Fairholm, but he was being covered on the sidelines by Young. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders are forced to send in the punting unit. I think there may have been a bit of miscommunication between Austin and Fairholm on the play. Well, Don Matthews says with Kent Austin, it's like having another coach on the staff. Ridgway with a 45-yard field goal try. It will fall short. Cartwright is going to try and get out of the end zone, but he's tackled by David Pitcher for a single point. So with 10:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter, it's now a 30-point Saskatchewan lead. The BC Lions with their first offensive series in the 2nd half, and Danny Barrett has taken over at quarterback from Michael Johnson, who started the game but didn't have any success during the first 30 minutes. Barrett throws to the sidelines to Matt Clark. He's got a first down and more, taking it out of bounds at the 51 of Saskatchewan.
Now, Danny Barrett was injured running an option play earlier in the year, was subject to some criticism. He's not the same kind of a quarterback that Doug Flutie is, but he is capable of winning a lot of football games. He took Calgary to a Grey Cup last year.
On July 23rd, he was hurt against Calgary in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10. Movement at the line of scrimmage, and it appeared as though Lance Cook had crossed into no man's land prior to the ball being snapped.
Offside, Saskatchewan number 92, still first down.
You know, Don, Lance Cook had a comment to us about Quick Parker, his coach. There's Lance Cook. He is being coached by Quick Parker, and he's so quick he even went before the ball was snapped. But he said he learned more under Quick Parker in training camp than he learned in 4 years about pass rush in the NFL.
Well, he certainly learned from a very good man. John Volpe runs out of bounds and is forced out of bounds by Grayson.
This guy's a hard man to tackle, and it's very hard to calculate John Volpe's speed. He never looks like he's moving as fast as he is until you're out there trying to tackle him. He's got that ability to turn the play upfield. He always makes yardage when he goes wide.
In his rookie season, Volpe last year ran for 1,395 yards, and even though the Lions have yet to win a football game this year, Volpe is on pace to better that mark. Big hole for Hansen, and Hansen fights his way inside the 20-yard line. Lance Cook, with good pursuit, brought down Ryan Hansen, but not before he had galloped for 25 yards.
With everybody looking for Volpe to carry the football, Danny Barrett just reverse pivots. Volpe's the lead blocker. Look at him get that nice block on Rasevich, and Hansen, he's off to the races. Stuttered, stepped, stumbled, but he kept his balance, and he made a big gain, biggest run of the night.
1st and 10 from the Saskatchewan 18. Barrett overthrew Trevathan. It will be 2nd and 10. Barrett is wearing number 9. He wanted number 8 when he initially went to the BC Lions, but Ken Petway was on the roster at the time, and he wore number 8. But now with Petway gone, number 8 will be available to Danny Barrett.
If I were him, I'd trade. I mean, why not wear your old number? Belovich is wearing the same number.
What's that, 0 for the season so far? Ray Alexander tried to go up and haul that pass in, but it's ruled as an incomplete pass. Alexander is protesting that he made the catch and lost the ball when he made contact with the turf, but the officials rule it was an incomplete pass.
Danny Barrett delivered the ball every time that he threw on this drive, and he wants to go for it. I mean, with the score like this, I think he's right. Watch John Volpe come up, take a good piece out of Drinkwalder, and that gets the job done. When you're short, you might as well stay low.
Flutie will hold for Pasaglia at the 25-yard line. The kick is up. It's good. So Lou Pasaglia comes through with his 2nd field goal of the game. It's 33-6 with 8:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. A little creativity on the part of a couple of fans at Taylor Field tonight, and we certainly hope there is someone with the wherewithal to take over the BC Lions from the Canadian Football League, which assumed control of this franchise on Thursday. Lucius Floyd takes the throw from Austin, but he won't get the first down. Brett Young and O.J. Brigance stopped him after a gain of about 7. Austin getting up very slowly. He was hit just as he unloaded.
Glenn Scrivener he really blew in there. He came outside. Now they're going to set up the screen pass, but Austin has to double set. This is too much of a price to pay for a screen. I mean, he snapped him back and got a little whiplash. Scrivener's a pretty big guy, about 280 pounds, and he used to be a punter in university. Can you imagine that?
Lucius Floyd trying to get the first down, and he gets to the 46 for a first down, tackled by Glenn Scrivener. Scrivener, initially a draft choice by the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Scrivener's got real good acceleration for a big man, and I guess it's from those days when he was punting, trying to avoid people. He knows how to do it, and he's pumped up.
The first carry of the game for Milson Jones, and he'll get about 1 yard. 19,345 are watching the game tonight at Taylor Field in Regina, the final game of Week 8 in the Canadian Football League. 2 exciting overtime games on Thursday night. Winnipeg losing to Hamilton 37-35. Last night in overtime, Edmonton losing to Calgary 45-38.
And we might go into overtime, Don. You never know.
You are an optimist, aren't you? Austin for Elgard over his head. He was being covered by Brett Young. Stu Hill decked Kent Austin just as he fired the pass in the direction of slot back Ray Elgard.
Well, Elgard's running the same crisp, clean routes. The only problem is down below all of this that's happening, Stu Hill is just barreling in on Kent Austin, and Kent Austin doesn't have time to deliver the ball. 36 comes ripping through, and you can't deliver the ball the way you want to when you see that blur in front of you.
Ozecki's punt, fielded on the run by Cartwright. He was hit immediately. The ball comes loose. Penalty flags fly on the play. It could be a no yards call against Saskatchewan. Ray Bernard was the first man downfield to make the tackle, but he did not provide the necessary 5 yards.
Number 57, first down BC.
Danny Barrett throws to the far side to Darren Flutie. This is a BC first down. George Wynn pushed Flutie out of bounds, but not before he got to the 39. Scott?
Well, Don, probably only folks in this part of the country would know, but here they are. Lefty Hendrickson, the father of Craig and Scott, both members of the Riders right now, played for the Lions in the 60s and 70s. Larry Fairholm, Joe had him in the game tonight, but I think Larry retired in the 70s. His son Jeff, of course, a star for the Riders. Paul Anderson, Mike's father, played for the Riders from 53 to 58. And I don't think, Don, there's any team quite like the Riders that maintains the father and son tradition in the CFL.
No, I don't think there is, Scott. And there is Jeff Fairholm, the son of Larry Fairholm, whose name was mentioned earlier as a candidate for resurrecting a franchise in Montreal.
Well, that's why I named him. I wanted him to realize that he probably still could play. You know, Larry's in good shape.
Barrett on second down. Pass is complete to Flutie. He takes it out of bounds for a first down at the 26-yard line.
Well, Obilovich wasn't as concerned as everybody else about Danny Barrett's condition for this game. He said, yeah, he's ready to play. Everyone said, well, how is his timing? He said, it'll be all right. And he's looked good. 2 good passes to Flutie.
First and 10 BC. The ball is at the 26. Volpe with an inside move, and he is brought down by Lance Cook, but not before he got about 9 yards.
That counter play is starting to become effective, because when Volpe gets the football, he's getting a good block out here, and then he'll carry the ball up through there. That lead lineman is what makes the play go. John is very good at following his blockers.
And the BC Lions on second and a couple of yards. Ryan Hansen picks up the first down. And the BC Lions are in scoring position again. First and 10. They are at the 14.
Well, the Lions got to feel good about Danny Barrett in the ball game. He certainly made a difference on these 2 drives.
Barrett looks to the end zone. Trevathan is open, but he got turned around the wrong way.
Yeah, Obi's a little upset about that one. They had a touchdown if Trevathan had looked over the inside shoulder. And you're only as good as what happens up front. Ian Sinclair, 55, does a good job. He stays in front of his man. That's really all pass protection is. Stay in front of your man. Don't hold him.
Second and 10. The ball at the 13 of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 4:19 remaining in the third quarter. 33-6. The Riders lead. Pass is complete to Matt Clark. And he's got a touchdown.
Good poise by Danny Barrett. He had patience, worked the plays down the field. He took what was there on nearly every occasion. Had a little mix-up with Trevathan the last play, but he delivers to Matt Clark, and Clark takes it upfield for the touchdown. Makes a good adjustment.
Last year, Matt Clark was a key man in the BC passing attack. 79 receptions for 1,530 yards. He's had a difficult time in his sophomore year. Only 18 receptions coming into this game. The point after by Lou Pasaglia. And with 4:06 remaining, it's now 33-13. Who knows? Another touchdown, and the BC Lions could be right back in the chase. Bob Obilovich with a career coaching record 93-72-3. Don Matthews with a record of 74-41-1. Danny Barrett in his first year as a BC quarterback and in his 4th game of this 1992 season, putting together a good drive for the first touchdown of the night for the BC Lions. On the kickoff return, Dan Farthing fights his way out to the 39-yard line, and that's where Saskatchewan will scrimmage first and 10.
And you know, the guy Danny Barrett's talking to is Joe Paopao, and Joe Paopau's done a nice job. There's Sean Millington, made a good hit on that last play, and I think special teams, those guys never get enough credit. You got to run down the field and play kamikaze. He delivered and came in and made a good tackle, held him up at least until the posse got there.
3:49 remaining in the third quarter. Farthing is wide to the right. Pressure on Austin and Stu Hill and Paul Wetmore, with Wetmore getting to him.
That's been the difference in this half. They've been hitting Austin on nearly every play. They knocked him down even when he does throw the ball. This time he didn't even get the ball away. It's a blitz from the outside. Paul Wetmore just took a bunch of him and a bunch of cloth and got him down. That's sort of like a slingshot, huh?
So Wetmore with the sack drops Austin back at the 31-yard line. 2nd and 18, Saskatchewan. Inside handoff, and Lucius Floyd is stopped right in his tracks. So the Lions are going to get the ball back, and they should get it back in pretty good field position.
Well, Lucius Floyd was upset, took a swing at Scrivener. But you know, you look at the Canadian talent on the BC Lions. They got some solid talent. They've just had to do a little bit of shifting around on their defensive secondary. The imports are more easy to come by. So I think the good news for the Lions, they got a lot of good young Canadians, and you saw 2 of them there, Wetmore and then Scrivener, making 2 big plays.
Cartwright waits for Lezecki's 3rd down punt. He had some problems fielding it, but manages to hang on at midfield. Scott?
Well, you know, Don, they say in TV you can never go wrong with kids and dogs, and so we offer you this fine-looking young man. He's 3-year-old Mark Mueller. He's the grandson of one Ron Lancaster, head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos, and he's here with his father, Larry Mueller, Ron's son-in-law, formerly assistant general manager. Hey, this is live TV. Relax for a sec. Formerly assistant general manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, Mark, we want you to tell us what you call your granddad. What's his name?
Digger.
That would be Digger. Now, why do they call him Digger, Larry?
Because after the animated former coach of Notre Dame college basketball, Digger Phelps, for his temper and his excitement and those things, and throwing and kicking chairs and yelling.
So there you have it. All these years we thought his name was the Little General, and it's Digger. Don, up to you for some business.
Charles Anthony intercepting the pass. There's a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. So Ron, the secret is now out. From now on, you'll be known as Digger.
BC, number 55, decline. 55.
The holding penalty is declined as the Roughriders get the ball back at their own 15-yard line. Ian Sinclair, the center, was guilty of holding.
He just takes what you call an outside hold. You got to keep your hands inside. If you get out around that man, you're going to get called every time.
Ray Elgard makes the catch, gets a 1st down as he fought his way out across the 30-yard line.
And the coaches this year met with the officials about holding. There's Ray Elgard coming down the field. He just stops, comes back. That's a comeback pattern. Look at him catch. Nice soft catch with his hands, now throwing people off.
He runs hard with the football after he makes the catch. Here he goes again. Caught by Brett Young.
Well, you're not supposed to be able to do that.
A 52-yard gain for Ray Elgard.
Your slot backs aren't supposed to be able to make runs like that. He just makes people miss, and he shows deceiving speed as he waltzes down the field looking around to see who else he can hit. And that's really what he's looking for. He's waiting to see somebody else, and he's going to lower the boom on him.
Ray Elgard, in 2 games this year against the BC Lions, has had a field day. He had a career best 187 yards 2 weeks ago. He's got 188 tonight. End zone pass, touchdown, Donald Narcisse. Penalty flags on the play down in the vicinity of the 10-yard line. David Ridgway with the point after, just when it looked as though the BC Lions might be in a position to fight their way back. A turnover gave the Roughriders the football, and very quickly Kent Austin strikes first to Ray Elgard, and then the touchdown throw to Donald Narcisse.
Perfect pass. You see Narcisse played it perfectly. You don't put your hands out until you get under the ball. You have to use your arms to run, but look what happens to Austin as he delivers the football. I mean, that's right up under the chin and wham, down on the ground. That one hurt. But turnovers this year almost tell the story in every ball game. It leads to the plays, the field goals at very minimum, or touchdowns.
Ridgway angling it to the sidelines. The Riders were trying to get it, but it went out of bounds in front of Stacey Hairston. Scott?
Well, Don, on the bench right now, they're assessing Kent Austin. You know, he has been on the money tonight, but boy, he's taken 2 gigantic hits, one from Scrivener and then the one a moment ago from Stu Hill, and it's resulted in a sore neck. I'm not sure if he's got a pinched nerve or what, but he is somewhat immobile. So Warren Jones is warming up right now, and he'll likely go into the game. I know they're talking to Ken Austin about whether he thinks he can continue, and like any good athlete would say, he's saying he can, but the decision may not be his.
Well, they don't want to take any unnecessary risks with Kent Austin. What a night he has had. 24 of 33 for 496 yards and 4 touchdowns. And on the touchdown throw to Donald Narcisse, this was the hit from Stuart Hill that has probably put Austin on the bench for the rest of the game. Trevathan can't make the catch.
Yeah, Obi just wanted to get one of those simple patterns, 5-yard out cut, try to get some momentum going and get Danny Barrett on his rhythm. He threw the football out there, but on a slippery day, Trevathan couldn't make any adjustment. Well, it's good to see Kent Austin up. It apparently isn't as bad as it looked originally.
Barrett is caught and hauled down by Gerald Bayless. Whether it's Michael Johnson or Danny Barrett at the controls of the BC offense, Gerald Bayless is there for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Gerald Bayless, that makes about, if that's a sack, I think he got him behind the line of scrimmage. That makes 4 sacks for him. But the real story is Bayless causing the pressure, making people throw when they don't want to throw. And Danny Barrett has seen a lot of Gerald Bayless tonight. So did Michael Johnson.
This should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Dan Farthing waits for the 3rd down punt. High snap to Pasaglia, and he got it away just in time. Bayless almost got to it coming up the middle. Farthing picks it up at the 13-yard line and is stopped after a return of about 2 yards on the final play of the 3rd quarter, a 61-yard punt by Pasaglia. Rough Rider mascot Gaynor the Gopher trying to keep the fans involved in this game. 40-13. The Riders lead the BC Lions with 15 minutes remaining. Just under 20,000 watching the action on a cool, wet, and windy night at Taylor Field. Warren Jones is at the controls of the Rider offense. His pass is complete to Ray Elgard. And Elgard is now up over 200 yards, a career night for the Saskatchewan slotback.
On that last kick, you have to be careful when you're an official because that's the football. Watch his foot. The officials have a tough time getting out of the way of that football. Sometimes I'd call this a fumble or a backward kick.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
8 receptions for 208 yards now for Ray Elgard and the touchdown. He's probably looking forward to October 25th. That's the next time the Riders play the BC Lions here at Taylor Field. Jones fumbled the exchange from center. He may have lost a yard. It will be 2nd and 11.
Ray Elgard's parents live in Victoria, so they get a chance to see him in the Sky Dome. But look, you're not going to get the ball to Elgard like that, Warren. That's always a tough problem, particularly when you have a situation where Hendrickson came into the ball game. They haven't had that many snaps together.
2nd and 11. Jones throws down the sideline. He was looking for Elgard. It was incomplete. Elgard, the league leader in the passing department. He now has 55 receptions for the season and 873 yards. He is having a career year.
Well, you won't believe this, Don, but I think his best games, Ray Elgaard's best games, have been in BC Place. He's played terrific ball games versus the Lions in their own home field.
Rico Cartwright takes the punt at the 31-yard line, and he runs out of room on the sidelines around the 46. He's tackled by Milson Jones. A 44-yard kick and a 15-yard return. 568 net yards for Saskatchewan. 5 turnovers have also hurt the BC Lions tonight, an indication of the type of night it would be for the BC Lions on their very first possession. They drove down deep into Saskatchewan territory, and an end zone pass was intercepted. Danny Barrett looking at 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Screen pass to Hansen behind the block of Sinclair, and Hansen goes all the way to the 40, tackled by Glenn Suter. A gain of 24 yards.
Excuse me, Ryan Hansen's had a great ball game, and what happens with Ryan Hansen is he's catching those balls out in the flat, and he's able to avoid somebody. Watch how he works his blockers first, and now he avoids that secondary tackler coming in. This is a good job of breaking the tackle and staying on balance.
And unlike a previous screened attempt to Hansen, Sinclair was able to get out front and throw a block. Barrett over the middle looking for Matt Clark. It's incomplete. I think initially Barrett was looking to go to the right side, but he was getting pressure from the left side of that Saskatchewan defensive unit.
Yeah, Gary Lewis came upfield on him, and he had a crossing pattern, so that was his safety valve. Dump it off to Matt Clark. He got a little bit hurried on it. They didn't get anything out of it.
12:07 remaining in the game. 40-13 Saskatchewan leads. It's 2nd and 10. The ball is at the 40 of the Roughriders. Ray Alexander has a first down inside the 30-yard line, tackled by Benson Donaldson.
There's a nice target. When he comes back over the inside, you've got that big range to hit, and Danny Barrett takes advantage of that. The other thing that Alexander gave to the Lions last year was 2nd and long, those quick outcuts. He was excellent at that.
1st and 10 over the head of Matt Clark. It will be 2nd and 10 BC. Willis Jaycox was shaken up in the 3rd quarter, and he has gone to the dressing room and changed. So the man who now leads the CFL in combined yards won't get a chance to add to his totals tonight. The Riders, if they win this game, and I doubt if there are many who don't think they will, they will improve their record to 4-4. The pass intended for Alexander incomplete. And Coach Don Matthews still thinks that his Riders can catch both Edmonton and Calgary for first place.
Well, the injuries won't help, and Danny Barrett delivered the ball this time. That should have been caught. The Lions are only 5th in the CFL on 2nd down conversions. They're down at about 40%. But with Danny Barrett back and Ray Alexander in a lineup, I think they'll team up and do a much better job than 40% conversions.
Bisaglia with a 35-yard field goal try. It's a fake. Caravetti throws, and Ryan Hansen could not hang on. Ooh, there have been a couple of times tonight where Ryan Hansen should have caught the ball, and that was definitely one of them.
Play action fake off the field goal attempt, and it hit him right in the hands, and he tried to catch it on the rebound, so he missed it twice.
The Riders take over with Warren Jones at the controls, replacing the injured Kent Austin. The pass is intercepted by Smith, the safety. He laterals it off to Brett Young, and he carries another 6 yards to the 20. 10:30 remaining in the game, and the BC Lions, after miscuing on the fake field goal attempt, get the football right back.
Doug Hocking, number 90, got good pressure, caused the interception, and Brian Smith takes it up alertly, pitched that ball out. He got it out to Brett Young, and Brett Young got tripped up, but he looked like he had open field there for an instant.
10:24 remaining, 1st and 10 for the BC Lions. They are at the Saskatchewan 20. Barrett throws into the end zone. Vincent Donaldson has an interception, and he brings the ball back to the 8-yard line. Gerald Bayless hit Danny Barrett just as he threw. There's a penalty flag on the play.
There's a penalty marker on the field.
Preliminary pass interference against Saskatchewan.
The interference apparently took place after the interception.
Legal block, number 2 Saskatchewan, after the interception. First down, Saskatchewan.
So Vincent Donaldson with the interception gets the ball right back for the Roughriders, but they are backed up close to their own goal line. They'll scrimmage 1st and 10 from the 2. Bob Obilovich can't believe some of the things that have happened to his football team this year.
Well, he hasn't had much luck on the fake field goal attempt, then come back, get an interception, have an opportunity to score, and then you get intercepted. So it's been one of those nights for Bob.
Lucius Floyd may not have got across the goal line. He didn't. It is a safety touch. The BC Lions don't allow Lucius Floyd to get out of the end zone as he took the handoff rather deep from Warren Jones.
Yeah, that was an ill-conceived play. The timing wasn't good. Warren Jones handed the ball off deep. And, you know, the two of them haven't worked together all that much, but this is a draw play into the end zone. Hey, it didn't draw anybody but more defenders.
Lee Johnson made contact with him, and O.J. Brigance with help from Donovan Wright, and it's a safety touch with 9:47 remaining in the ball game. We'll be back right after this. Following a safety touch, the team getting the 2 points has 3 options. They can ask the opposition to kick off, they can kick off themselves, or they can do what Bob Obilovich has decided to do, scrimmage 1st and 10 from the 35. The Lions, following tonight's game, return home to take on the Ottawa Roughriders on Thursday, and will be at BC Place Stadium for the television coverage of that game on the CBC network. Barrett is caught by Cook. Pretty good speed for a big man.
That sure was. That Lance Cook we talked about was tutored by James Quick Parker, and he's looked nothing but quick. That time he just ran Danny Barrett down from behind, and the thing that made it work was he got rid of his blocker so soon. It was just a foot race, and the big guy won the foot race.
You know, it's interesting. Usually 3 of the 4 down linemen get a hand down on the ground, but Lance Cook and the other rush end, the start of the game was Bobby Jurison, operate from a stand-up position. Barrett was hit as he threw. It's an incomplete pass. Ty Jones made contact with him.
Forward pass interference. Saskatchewan number 2, 15-yard penalty. First down, BC.
Stacey Hairston, who has 2 interceptions tonight, was guilty of the pass interference. 1st and 10 BC. The ball is at the 44-yard line. 40-15. The Roughriders lead the Lions. Trevathan in motion across the formation. Hansen gets the ball, and Hansen is tripped up by middle linebacker Dan Rasevich.
Hansen's getting more work tonight than he's had all during the 1992 season.
But he will reflect back on 1 pass at least that he dropped tonight, and that was on the fake field goal try.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity for the Lions to score. He would have had the first down and possibly a touchdown.
2nd and 5 BC. Matt Clark on the receiving end, and he's bounced out of bounds on the far side of the field by Stacey Hairston, but not before he got a first down.
Well, that ball was well delivered by Danny Barrett.
Ryan Hansen limps off to the BC bench.
It's important for Danny Barrett to have a good ball game.
John Millington has replaced Hansen. Ray Alexander was the man Barrett was looking for. There's a penalty flag on the play. Benson Donaldson protests his innocence.
24, 15-yard penalty, first down BC.
The Lions have it 1st and 10 at the 37. You be the judge.
Here comes the judge, Vincent Donaldson. Up and underneath the big guy.
Barrett completes the pass to Darren Flutie. He looks for a couple of blocks. What a job of running by Darren Flutie to get down to the 15-yard line. A gain of 21 yards.
Oh, he's playing his heart out. That was a great run. He came all the way back to the inside, had a lot of people to avoid, and his blocker set up for him. This is a good job of being aware of where you are on the field. He got away from 3 blockers, and then he made some people miss. That's a great job.
Back to the live action. Barrett looking for Flutie again on the sidelines. It's incomplete.
Well, Danny Barrett needs confidence in 2 things. He needs confidence in himself. That's why it's important for him to have a good ball game, and he needs confidence in his teammates. He has to regain their confidence. He's been out, he's been injured, the team has been struggling. Now he's come back. He's delivered some great throws tonight. And I think it's very important to him in his career to show these people that he can play, show his own teammates.
6:55 is the time remaining in the game. It's 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line. Michael Johnson started the game. Barrett took over in the second half. He throws to Volpe, and Volpe doesn't get to the end zone, but should have a first down as he got inside the 5-yard line. The Riders were in a 6 defensive back set, and it was Kim McLeod who pushed Volpe out of bounds.
Well, this looks like the same situation that Johnson faced early in the ball game. Get it down, but you got to get it into the end zone. Danny Barrett's got a little more experience than Michael Johnson. We'll see if he can get it in the end zone.
1st and goal. BC, the toss to Volpe. Volpe looking for the corner. He's got the end zone. And the BC Lions have their 2nd touchdown of the game with 6:32 remaining.
That's a nice drive, and I know Danny Barrett feels good about it. John Volpe, with that speed, also shows some power as he breaks it up to the inside. As he makes his cut, picks up a blocker, and then he just bulldozes into the end zone. He's got the low center of gravity, really strong legs. It's hard to stop him.
Babilovich is probably reminding his BC Lions that last year on August the 21st, they scored 22 points in the game's final 10 minutes to win. So perhaps this one isn't beyond their grasp either. 6:32 is the time left. Well, the football fans in Saskatchewan love their Roughriders, and I'm sure they'll be jammed into Taylor Field for the traditional Labor Day game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Actually, the game takes place on Sunday, September the 6th, not on Labor Day, but it is on the Labor Day weekend. And in previous years, those Labor Day battles between Winnipeg and Saskatchewan have produced record crowds at Taylor Field. Dan Farthing was on the receiving end of the kickoff. The largest crowd ever, 31,121 at Taylor Field, watching the Winnipeg-Saskatchewan Labor Day game in 1990.
Well, these guys are happy campers. They've got more equipment. They've got rain equipment. They've got warm equipment. They've got noise-making equipment. There's nothing like a game here in Regina. Those fans really get into it.
And this year, for the first time, they are also selling the bubbly at Taylor Field. Although it might be a little cold to enjoy a beer tonight.
That's a form of equipment, I guess you would say.
I don't think that fella cares at all about weather conditions.
That could be a suntan.
Milson Jones was the ball carrier. Keith Poe made the tackle. It will be 2nd and 10. Warren Jones at the controls of the Saskatchewan attack, replacing the injured Kent Austin. Jones to Fairholm, first down. Fairholm was driven back to the 48-yard line, but his forward progress will be marked up at the 53.
Well, Warren Jones has shown some poise. He's not a rookie. Warren Jones had some good ball games when he was playing with the Edmonton Eskimos and some great games playing for the University of Hawaii. Jeff shows a lot of courage, catching over the middle.
First and 10, Saskatchewan from the 53. This will be a time count violation against the Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterback.
Saskatchewan number 6, first down repeated.
You know, Don, when you get into a ball game, you've been in practice all week, and you get into a ball game, the players tell you it's like turning the speed up 10 times as much. It's a little different than practice.
This is Warren Jones' 4th year in the Canadian Football League, but in his rookie season with the Edmonton Eskimos, he spent the entire year on the injured list. Pass is intercepted by Smith. He lost the football, and I think the BC Lions did manage to get it back. So with 4:35 remaining in the game, the BC Lions trail by 18 points, but they will have a first down at their own 53-yard line. As I said last year, in a wild and woolly affair on August the 21st, the Lions came from behind a 22-point deficit in the game's final 10 minutes to win.
Well, give the credit to Hawking, Brigance, and Poe, who were all over Jones, so he just sort of threw the ball up for grabs, and Brian Smith made a good break on the ball.
His second interception, Danny Barrett throws to the sidelines. Ray Alexander makes the catch for a first down at the Saskatchewan 44. 4:18 is the time remaining.
This is a good catch by Alexander. Big, tall guy, 6'4". As he makes his break, he's got to get way down to get that football. He got his hands under it, got the glove underneath.
Barrett is going to throw deep for Trevathan. He's got it down at the 13-yard line.
Well, Saskatchewan got caught in a blitz that time. Danny Barrett read it.
A gain of 31 for Trevathan, his initial catch of the ball game.
Obi wants to get a score in here quick and then try the onside kick.
I don't really think you have to go for the onside kick. I think if he scores here, he does have time.
Yeah, he could kick it deep and still get the ball back twice.
Volpe, big hole, touchdown. Second touchdown of the game for John Volpe.
Coaches in the press box have a scale and tells them when and where to go for the 2 points. This is one of those times Volpe just takes it and explodes up the middle. Hey, there's nobody near him.
A 2-point convert attempt. They've got it. Volpe adds the 2 points to the touchdown he scored, and it is a 40-30 game with 3:52 remaining.
And that's a lifetime in this league. 10 points, you can get that in about 2 minutes.
Going back to the August 21st game last year, I talked about the 22 points that the BC Lions scored in the game's final 10 minutes. They scored 2 touchdowns in the final 60 seconds of the game. Time remaining, 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
And they've had a lot of injuries, don't forget that. Jurison's out of there. Jay Cox is out of there.
Bruce Boyko takes the ball. It was a short kick by Lou Pasaglia. He tried to hit it into a vacant area. There's also a penalty flag on the play. A 30-yard kick.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, 26 BC, first down Saskatchewan.
Lorne King is called for unnecessary roughness. That's a penalty the BC Lions didn't need at this juncture of the football game.
Not smart football.
First and 10, Saskatchewan from the 50 of BC. Warren Jones throws down the sidelines, and it's almost intercepted. He was looking for Narcisse, and Rico Cartwright got back to knock it away and feels that he should have intercepted the pass.
Yeah, Rico actually played the ball. It was right in his hands. Had a perfect opportunity to, and he was a receiver. He had a great opportunity there to get that ball back for the Lions.
Rico, I don't think there's much doubt about that one. I think you should have intercepted.
I guess he's not used to catching running backwards.
3:22 remaining in the game. Second and 10, Saskatchewan from the 50. This time Jones is going to run and try and get a first down, and he does. Remy Trudel finally caught up with the Saskatchewan quarterback.
The great value of having mobility. They were in the blitz. Jones couldn't find his receivers open, so he does the next thing. Alternate plan B is run for the first down.
Will the BC Lions get another opportunity to pull this one out? John Volpe, who has scored 2 touchdowns, and quarterback Danny Barrett certainly hope so. Saskatchewan first down. Lucius Floyd, the ball carrier, from 38 yards out, and this one could all but be over with the touchdown run by Lucius Floyd from 38 yards out.
What a great block by Chris Jauskas. Lucius Floyd did the rest.
And with the point after by David Ridgway, it's a 17-point spread, 47-30, with 2:46 remaining. Well, I'm sure Rough Rider fans and Gaynor were a little nervous when the BC Lions moved to within 10 points, but Lucius Floyd from 38 yards out has put it away.
Now Stevenson came over, made another nice block, and Lucius Floyd slid in for the home run. What an athlete this guy is. I mean, he does flips.
Lucius Floyd combined rushing and passing close to 200 yards. Some outstanding individual performances tonight by members of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ahmad Field can't get away from Grayson at the 32-yard line. Grayson has impressed with his play tonight, playing that weak side linebacking position. You know, the BC Lions in 8 games this year have never led at any of the 31 quarters of football they have played.
And that makes it twice as tough, Don. When you're behind, you know you have to play twice as hard.
Trevathan on the receiving end of the Danny Barrett throw. He is caught by Wynn. 2:35 remaining in the game.
He's injured.
Penalty flag on the play.
Legal procedure, British Columbia, no end, second down repeated.
For a time, I'm sure members of the BC Lions thought that they might be able to pull this one out in the game's final minutes, but those hopes appear to have evaporated. Although Ray Alexander will try and keep them alive, he makes the catch up at the 48-yard line. First and 10 BC.
Well, there's a quality receiver. And when you got Ray Alexander and you got guys like Stu Hill, you got an opportunity to win any ball game. And the Lions certainly had their chances tonight. Some drop balls could have made a difference, but they're welcoming Ray Alexander back, and he's getting a lot of action.
Ryan Hansen had the ball sail over his head, and then he took a hit from Wild. Alexander across the middle, makes the catch, loses the football as he is tackled by Wynn, but the whistle had already gone, and it's a first down BC at the 42 of Saskatchewan. 2:02 is the time remaining.
Alexander will catch the ball in traffic, and he knows he's going to get hit. He's trying to get back upfield. That's the hard part when you go against the grain.
For Alexander, he makes the catch on the sidelines. What an excellent job of fighting off the defender, George Wynn, to make the catch at the 13.
First down, BC on the Saskatchewan.
A gain of 31 for Ray Alexander.
Well, that's a big catch. That's a pro catch. He had people right there on him, hands up in front of him, and he still pulled the ball down.
We're all going to get together again.
This guy looks like he's been around all preseason and the whole rest of the year. You'd never know he came back in this week after that injury.
Ryan Hansen was the man Barrett was looking for. It will be 2nd and 10.
Second down.
You see the intensity there with Danny Barrett. He's telling the receivers where he wanted them to go, and he's very frustrated.
Glenn Scrivener, who was acquired by the BC Lions this season. Initially a draft choice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the #1 pick in 1990. Pass is intercepted. Glenn Sutter with his 2nd theft of the game, and he now is the Roughrider all-time career interception leader. That's the 39th of his career. That comes with 1:37 remaining, and if there was any doubt as to the outcome, that should seal it for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, there's nothing like a lead to be able to play free safety, and when you play free safety, you're a center fielder back there, and that's what Glenn Sutter did. He played center field, just came up, stole the ball away from the intended receiver.
The 6th interception of the night for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They take over 1st and 10. The ball is at their own 36-yard line with 1:37 remaining in the game. Fake inside. Warren Jones was looking down the sidelines for Narcisse, but he had Keith Poe in his face.
He didn't fool Keith Poe as he came out on the bootleg. Look out. But Sutter, 39 interceptions. That's a pretty good career, and I'll bet you he's going to talk about that tomorrow. As you said earlier in the show, he'll modestly describe that he is the all-time interception leader.
Glenn Sutter, for those who may not be aware, is a sportscaster on a Regina radio station. Lucius Floyd was stopped in his tracks by Glenn Scrivener. He played junior football in Winnipeg with the Fort Garry Lions.
Scrivener's had a great ball game tonight.
Darren Flutie is back for this 3rd down punt return. We've seen Flutie with the ability to run with the football after making a pass reception. He can run with the football on a punt return as well. And with 39 seconds remaining, Flutie with an 18-yard return gives the Lions a 1st down at the Saskatchewan 51.
Flutie's a key part of their offense.
Yes, when his brother Doug was signed by the Calgary Stampeders, many people thought that Darren would want to hook up with him again in a Stampeder uniform. Ryan Hansen takes the pass inside the 45-yard line. The next home game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders a week tomorrow here at Taylor Field. Their Labor Day battle against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Bombers coming off a pair of losses to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And the Roughriders bouncing back tonight with a win after losing their last outing against the Ottawa Roughriders. Ryan Hansen out of bounds with a 1st down, forced out by Benson Donaldson. The BC Lions return home to prepare for those Ottawa Roughriders on Thursday night of next week. Coming into the game, the Lions had given up an average of 42 points per game. Saskatchewan has surpassed that average tonight. End zone throw intended for Alexander. Benson Donaldson got over there to knock it away. Benson Donaldson with an interception. Stacey Hairston with a pair of interceptions tonight. In total, 6 thefts by the Saskatchewan secondary.
Looks like Donaldson's going to get this one, but Alexander did a good job. He just knocked the ball out of its course right at the last moment.
As we saw on Thursday night at Winnipeg Stadium, the Bombers turning it over 9 times in their loss to the Hamilton Ticats, and the BC Lions with 8 turnovers tonight, and that has contributed to the 47 points that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have scored.
Kent Austin contributed quite a bit too.
And so did Ray Elgard, 208 yards tonight. It's his birthday, and he wasn't expecting that. A rough couple of days for Ray Elgard. Yesterday, some of his teammates managed to convince several members of the City of Regina Police Department to come in with a warrant for Elgard's arrest, and they hauled him right off the practice field. Elgard wasn't sure what was going on. They slapped handcuffs on him and hauled him off to the police headquarters.
And nobody's admitted
and
it.
Nobody is going to dare admit that they were part of that scheme.
They're down 4.
He may have some suspicions, though, with that ice bucket being dumped on his head. Flutie on the receiving end of the throw. He's trying to get to the end zone. Will he? Did they stop him at the goal line? It looks as though they did. He was desperately trying to get into the end zone with only 2 seconds remaining on the clock.
That was a great effort by Flutie. Talk about football players with a will. Flutie wanted to get into that end zone. Look at what he does here. He makes that move across the field. He's tackled, he's driving, he's going backwards.
So on what should be the final play of the game, it is 1st and goal, and Flutie with his 3rd touchdown of the night. A penalty flag on the play. I believe I said Flutie.
Decline.
Volpe, the ball carrier, his 3rd touchdown of the night. The Saskatchewan Roughriders improved their record to 4-4, and they trail the co-leaders in the West by 4 points. Penalty flag as Charles Anthony was interfering with Matt Clark.
If you can't cover him, you grab him.
Saskatchewan and Rain in the end zone. 1st down, BC in the 1.
These two teams have scored a lot of points in the 2 games they have played. 46-43 in overtime 2 weeks ago. It's 47-36 at the moment, with the Lions attempting to add 2 points to the most recent touchdown by John Volpe. Penalty flags again as Volpe got the football.
Offside, Saskatchewan number 24. Conrad repeated.
I think you may remember a game here a couple of years ago when the BC Lions scored the winning points with time expired.
Yes, I remember it well.
We're still here, folks.
Right at that same end zone, Matt Dunnigan did a quarterback sneak. Maybe we'll see that again.
Well, they're not going to get it. Volpe is tracked down by number 46, Dan Grayson, and it ends 47-36. Saskatchewan defeating the BC Lions, the 8th consecutive loss for Bob Obilovich and his Lions.
Well, they ran into a fired-up Kent Austin and Ray Elgard, but I think the Lions have some things to build on. They've got their quarterback back from the injury, and I think they've got John Volpe, and Ray Alexander was a bright spot for the BC Lions tonight.
Yes, it was the Kent Austin, Ray Elgard, Jeff Fairholm, and Lucius Floyd show through 3 quarters.